Hiring? Every business needs great people and a better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. That's ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
It is my honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line. This guy's from the UK. He's not from the United States. We don't care. Right now, he's 21-0 with 20 KOs. The WBA, the IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua, is on the line with yours truly right now. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm feeling good. I had a good time yesterday at the game, and I'm just heading to the boxing gym now to get in a workout. How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. First of all, it was great meeting you for the first time. I saw you at the game last night. You had an NBA Western Conference Finals game with Houston and Golden State. Before I say anything else, how did you enjoy the game, and how much are you into basketball?
So in the UK, or in general, I've never been a massive sports fan. Parents were always working, so it wasn't a priority. But what I do admire is watching elite athletes at the top of their game perform. And I have to say, those guys are unbelievable athletes, and they've done a great job yesterday. And entertainment-wise, it was 10 out of 10 as well.
Were you surprised at all that the home team lost, that the Golden State Warriors lost? Were you surprised at all, or did you see it coming?
You know, Harden put up a good game. You know, they done well. It was close. It was very close, and I didn't see it coming because Warriors started off very, very well. They were ahead. So, you know, start as you mean to finish. But, you know, so maybe a bit of fatigue or lack of concentration played a part, and you know, Houston managed to come back. But all in all, it was a good game, and I think they play again on Thursday, right?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
in Houston.
In Houston, so maybe they always bounce back from a loss. People like to bounce back from a loss.
I got you. We're talking to Anthony Joshua, holds 2 of the heavyweight championship belts. He's right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let's get it. I mean, because I've had Deontay Wilder on my radio show before, and I've never had the pleasure of talking to you. This is an extreme honor for me because I'm a big boxing fan, and I love what I see you do right now.
I've seen you.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. How badly, I mean, I know you're the heavyweight champion. You're the most popular heavyweight in the world right now. Is it a situation where it's the next man up, or do you really, really want Deontay Wilder badly?
Deontay Wilder is the next man up. So that's how I'm looking at it. It works both ways. Because I've gone around my career from my 16th fight number 16, I became heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm 21 fights in now. And I've gone and had a heavyweight championship fight. I unified the division, and I had another unification fight with Joseph Parker to secure. I have 4 heavyweight championship belts now, and Wilder's got my last one. So now, putting that fight together will be the cherry on top, and that's what we've been working towards. And I feel like it has to happen because this is what I've been working for, and he's got an opportunity to show that he's the best. So the best of the best come together. And it will be very entertaining. If we can take anything from that basketball game, entertainment-wise, into the boxing arena, it's going to be a good night.
Now, you do know that Deontay Wilder came right on this very show and said, quote, Anthony Joshua wants no part of me. He's been ducking me. He doesn't want to fight me. This is before, obviously, you guys started talking about fight. You do know he said that about you, right?
So my view is, for a living, I fight. For a living, Wilder fights. So in all of my life I've been fighting. I've never been scared to face any challenge. So what makes Wilder in his right mind think that he's another challenge that I'm going to be scared of facing? That's why I think talk is cheap, money buys houses.
Well, you do know, Anthony Joshua, that he is 40-0 with 39 KOs. And not only that, he saw you fight Klitschko. You knocked out Klitschko. You beat Vladimir Klitschko with the TKO. That was a tremendous fight. You got up off the mat and you beat him down. You dropped him first. He got you with a right hand. Then you came a couple of rounds later and you finished him off. I think Wilder saw that fight and saw Klitschko catch you with that right hand, and he believes he wouldn't have got up with a right hand coming from me. What do you say?
So
to
he
that?
believes when you deal with Vladimir Klitschko, you're dealing with an Olympic champion, someone from the Soviet Union of a regime in his life, 10-year heavyweight champion, had more title defenses than any heavyweight champion in the world, and I went in there in my 19th fight and I defeated him. When Wilder was fighting in his 19th fight, he was fighting in a 6-rounder in Canada. You can't compare the two. So if you want to talk about you know what I'm saying? So you can't talk about where I was at in my 19th fight because I'm leaps ahead of these guys. So when you talk about levels and stats and facts, you just got to look at the numbers and do the math.
We're talking to Anthony Joshua, heavyweight champion of the world, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. I want this fight desperately. You say you want this fight desperately. Wilder says he wants this fight desperately. Why has the fight not been signed on a dotted line to happen as of yet?
Why hasn't it happened? That's a question that I couldn't answer myself because I've had now 6 heavyweight championship fights, 2 unifications. I'm only talking facts. So I'm not going to say this is why that is. I'm going to talk facts. I've worked with champions, undefeated, who have had belts, and we've managed to put on phenomenal shows. So why would it be any different fighting Deontay Wilder? Why should it be any different? So let's put our egos aside and let's just make the fight happen for the love of the sport. Because that's what I said. This is what I do for a living. I do it for the love of the sport. No one really wants to get punched in the head. But if you're crazy like me and you love this is what we do. So let's put our egos aside and put on a phenomenal show. I've still got 10 years left in the game, so there's a lot more that people will see in me for sure. So I'm having fun with it while I'm in it.
Anthony Joshua, what does Deontay Wilder need to do in order to make this fight happen?
Look at, coming over, looking at, I'll say a 2-fight deal. Let's cater for the UK fans and let's cater for the American fans as well. And look at really what his worth is, because this is where I work with my promoter, my manager, and you have to look at the value from a profit and loss perspective. And just be realistic about what you want out of the fight. Because you can't live in fantasy world and then try and bring that into reality. Because in reality, you have to know where you're at. And in fantasy, provided he fights me, then we're going to go to the end of the rainbow, provided we get this fight done. But right now, he has to live in reality and realize his worth. And then provided he fights, he puts on a good performance, his stock will go up. And then he can demand exactly what he wants. But we have to get in the ring before you put up your numbers.
Anthony Joshua, did I hear you correctly? You want a 2-fight deal. In other words, you don't want to just fight him once. You want to fight in the UK because you had 90,000 people show up for your fight at Wembley against Klitschko. You want another fight in the UK and you want a fight in the United States of America. You want a 2-fight deal with Deontay Wilder. Is that correct?
100%. And I'm not in the business of having a 1 fight and, it's not like I'm trying to just cater for one side of the world. I understand that there's a massive audience out here, and he's been catering for the audience in America. And being a world champion means you fight everywhere in the world. And I know America is the mecca of boxing, so I want to definitely compete here. And what better way to announce a fight to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? So let's start off in the UK. As you said, I've been catering for all of these 90,000 fans. I've managed to capture 4 heavyweight title belts. So in my eyes, when you do the math, I feel like I should have a bit of a say in where the fight takes place to start with. But nevertheless, we'll always return that favor and come to the USA.
You know what? I got to admit, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all, Anthony Joshua. I actually never thought about that. I'm thinking about 1 fight, but wait a minute. You're saying, hey, I had 90,000 people show up at Wembley. Guess what? We could do that again, and then I'll guarantee you I'll come to the U.S. and fight you again. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. It really, really does. And Wilder has said what to that?
You could always go back and take quotes after his fight, I think, with Bermane Sylvain. He said, Hasn't he wanted to travel to? Didn't he travel to Russia to fight Povetkin? This is quite what Wilder said. So he said he'll travel anywhere in the world. He'll come to England. So.
He came on this show. He did say that.
But he did say that. So I'm not going to start saying, I'm not going to take a 2-minute clip from an hour interview and say, well, this is what you said, and you have to stick by it. But if he is that willing to travel, we've shown what we're capable of doing. Let's get him involved in the party. Let's have some fun. This is fun to me. Let's rock and roll. Honestly, I live for this. I breathe for this. That's why I managed to put myself in a position, and I'm ready to kind of continue down this journey. There's no fear in my heart, man. This is what I decided to do from 18 years old.
Anthony Joshua right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Before I let you go, Deontay Wilder said he would knock you out. There's no way in hell it will go the distance. Anthony Joshua, what do you believe you would do to Deontay Wilder?
Everyone says this, everyone says that. But, you're going to have to tune in to see a boxing masterclass. I'll pick him apart. He won't be able to cope up. When his back foot, he's going to tire. He's going to start making mistakes. And I'm not, credit to Luis Ortiz, he showed a lot of flaws in Wilder's technique and how you can expose him, but I'm a different animal. And unfortunately for him and his family, I want to leave him flat on his back unconscious. So
you're basically saying, you're guaranteeing a knockout too, is that correct?
That's what we do. That's what we do.
My man, I want to let you know it was great talking to you. I'm going to be talking about this potential fight. It was an honor to meet you. I really wish you nothing but the best. I can't wait to see this fight. I want y'all to sign it on the dotted line and get it done. Do you have a preference in the United States where you would like this fight to take place? Because Vegas is an option, New York is an option, but that 100,000 seat stadium that is Jerry World in Dallas, Texas is an option too. Do you have a preference?
And that's what I was going to ask you. Number one, where is the biggest stadium? And number two, let's go, if everyone's going right, Vegas, New York, let's go left. Let's go to the biggest stadium and do something completely different. Why do we
that would be
do
Dallas.
The same thing? Let's go to
that
Dallas.
Would be Dallas.
Why not?
That would be Dallas. Vegas, you get 19,000 seats. Madison Square Garden, 19,000. But it ain't Wembley like 90,000. That would have to be Jerry World in Dallas.
Yeah, man. I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it.
My man, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule, and it was great seeing you at the playoffs last night.
Thank you to all the listeners as well that are tuning in, and stay tuned for more news to come very soon.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hiring? Every business needs great people and a better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. That's ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line right now is the actor, comedian, singer extraordinaire, the one and only Jamie Foxx is on the line right now. Yes. Why are you calling my show in the middle of the afternoon, Jamie Foxx?
First of all, let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. Very clear. Cleveland A.Smith is very upset right now with my brother Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, this is all I gotta ask. I think, first of all, let's just be honest. This is the excitement in basketball and NBA that we didn't think we were gonna get. We thought that the Golden State Warriors were gonna roll right through. I mean, we were all guilty of saying it was a wash. We didn't anticipate the heart of a Chris Paul, which I really think he turned the corner last night. He turned the corner because, everybody gets to that point in their life where you go like, I always fail at this point. and he turned a huge corner in front of everybody. That shocked the world. Here's what I don't understand, and maybe you could give me some clarity on this. Mm-hmm. Had that been LeBron James last night on the losing end of that, mm-hmm. there would be pitchforks. There would be people tearing down this man's legacy. I'm just asking why, and I have to, I'm not accusing you, Stephen A. Smith, but you are one to go at someone. I've seen you. Oh, and he was absolutely god awful. I don't care what anybody says. He's the worst. He shouldn't have been born. Talk to his parents. Why did his parents have him? Why did his parents even have him? That's what I want to know. This is what I want to know. I want to know because I think I had an answer, but why is there a different measuring tool when it comes to LeBron James and anybody else?
I'm going to say this to you, Jamie Foxx. I don't appreciate you calling me. I don't appreciate you calling my show, put me on the spot like this. But having said all that, and here's the biggest reason why. Because you're right. You're right. Wow. If this were LeBron James instead of Kevin, if LeBron James had shot 9 for 24 last night, if LeBron James had given up that last shot to Klay Thompson in a damn corner, we would be all over him. You're absolutely right, Jamie Foxx.
And why? But why? This is what I'm trying to figure out. I think we're missing something in this generation. We're missing out on probably one of the greatest to cloud, and there's so many different things attached to him, nuances and things like that has nothing to do with the game of basketball. We can't figure out. I'm a huge LeBron fan. At the same time, I put myself in. Back in the day when Kobe was killing everything, I was rooting against Kobe because I was a Maverick fan. So everything he did, I figured out a way to say that it was wrong. He scored 81. Oh, yeah, but I mean, that was a leap year, though. It was May 29th. I would always figure out something to try to take a chink out of Kobe.
Jamie, are you there? Jamie, we lost you.
If that's what we're doing.
Well, listen, I will say this to you. You might be right about that. I would say to you that, to me, I'm going to get on LeBron the way I get on anybody else, but you are absolutely right. Kevin Durant, it's not so much what we say about LeBron, it's what we don't say about others. You are bringing up a very valid point. After what happened last night, it was just last night, but after what happens last night, we should be all over Kevin Durant. He's one of the top 3 players in the world, and we should have been all over him.
But you know why you don't?
Why?
For some reason, LeBron James represents something that we've never really seen before. He's a killer without the killer instinct that we all claim he doesn't have. He's a nice guy. He does all of these different things that we just can't put our mind around. I don't know what it is, but when you say LeBron James, it's 2 reactions. It's either they love him to pieces or they hate him. There's either he's at the top of the mountain or he's at the bottom of the ocean. And I just think that it's because he's so great, and we take it for granted. Think about this, Stephen A., and I'm going to let you go. Think about this. Think about what this guy does with people he just met.
I can't believe I got to rush. I got to rush the great Jamie Foxx because I only got a minute left. But go ahead.
Got to go. No. But just think. Listen, I just want to know. All I wanted to know is, first of all, forget about that. How great is the NBA right now? It's exciting.
It's wonderful.
And you keep it exciting, Stephen A. Smith. And I want to say this all day. I will see you one day. Cleveland will be talking to you soon. So make sure we set up some time to go to dinner. What do we have to do? I love what you do, Stephen A. Smith.
Hold on. Not only are we going to dinner, I need you, bro. I got to host NBA Final specials live from the NBA Final 1-hour specials. I have to have you on as one of my guests.
I'm there, bro. Please. Come on. Don't have to ask me nothing. I'm there.
And dinner is on me, not Cleveland A. Not Cleveland A. It's on me.
Stephen A. Cleveland A. All right, baby.
Love you, bro. Thanks a lot, man. I'll see you soon. Peace. No doubt. The one and only Jamie Foxx right here with Stephen A. Hiring? Every business needs great people, and a better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just 1 day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. That's ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Obviously, a lot of stuff to get into, no doubt about it today, and we will most certainly do so, okay, without hesitation. I got a lot of stuff that I want to get into. And forgive me for pausing a little bit for a second here, being a little bit sloppy, but I'm going to my notes because I want to make sure I got all my requisite stuff right in front of me. By the way, you know when it's something so obvious they call it a no-brainer? Well, here's a big one. Barbasol is finally making razors. Introducing the Barbasol Ultra 6 Plus. It's got 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave. You can go to Barbasol.com right now and save some money. That's a no-brainer too, by the way. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Got a lot of stuff to get into today, a lot of stuff that is unavoidable. We all know this. We will get into it because we have to. Okay? We absolutely, positively have to. Because the NFL is making news. We've got a Western Conference Finals to talk about because Houston has even that series up 2-2. That subject is going nowhere. I will most certainly talk about that. Because I saw some heroics last night and some individuals that deserve major, major props. We've got an Eastern Conference Finals going on in Boston, Massachusetts tonight. Game 5, that series is tied 2-2. LeBron James is going into Boston, Massachusetts to go against the Celtics. Cleveland loses this game. As far as I'm concerned, they lose the series. We'll be talking about that one. But the NFL takes precedent at this particular moment in time. And here is the reason why. News has come down. And here is the headline. The National Football League owners have approved a national anthem policy for the year 2018. To read from NFL.com, the NFL will enact a national anthem policy for 2018 that requires players and league personnel on the sideline to stand, but gives them the option to remain in the locker room if they don't want to stand. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced today. Under the change approved by team owners at the Spring League meeting, individual clubs will have the power to set their own policies to ensure the anthem is being respected during any on-field action. If a player chooses to protest on the sideline, the NFL will fine the player. The player also could be fined by his team. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport and NFL Network's Judy Battista reported. ESPN is reporting the same thing, by the way. Goodell said the 6 changes under the policy were unanimously approved by team owners. Quote, the policy adopted today was approved in concert with the NFL's ongoing commitment to local communities and our country, one that is extraordinary in its scope, resources, and alignment with our players, Goodell said in a statement. We are dedicated to continuing our collaboration with players to advance the goals of justice and fairness in all corners of our society. It was unfortunate that on-field protests created a false perception among many that thousands of NFL players were unpatriotic. This is not and was never the case. The NFL Players Association says it was not consulted about the new policy before owners voted on it. From the NFL Players Association, here's a quote. The NFL chose to not consult the union in the development of this new policy. NFL players have shown their patriotism through their social activism, their community service in support of our military and law enforcement, and yes, through their protest to raise awareness about the issues they care about. The vote by the NFL club CEOs today contradicts the statements made to our players' leadership by Commissioner Roger Goodell and the chairman of the NFL's Management Council, John Mara, about the principles, values, and patriotism of our league. Our union will review the new policy and challenge any aspect of it that is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement. You see, here's the problem. Here we go again. before we've had an opportunity to pass gas, before somebody noticed one of us had bad breath, the NFLPA is already fighting with the NFL. Because of the mere fact that these rules were not thrown in the direction of the Players Association for approval before they were adopted by the NFL. Here you're having a Players Association who has admitted they have not seen the new policy, already challenging something they haven't even seen. So we got that problem right there. Let me tell you what the bigger problem is, ladies and gentlemen. Contrary to what people like my producers and others will say, in terms of this problem being resolved, no, it isn't. Do you think the American people are fools? Do you think folks in America are fools? Do you think we, as spectators, as fans, are fools? No, we're not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is still a problem. And you know why it's a problem? Because the NFL didn't deal with it a long time ago. The cat's out of the bag now. Who the hell tells y'all this is going to work? Will Kane filled in for Molly Curran today on First Take. Did an absolutely outstanding job moderating. There's actually some hope for him after all. I thought he was a lost cause. He actually moderated well. I got to give him credit where credit is due. Not better than me, of course, but he has potential. I'm only playing with him. Here's the deal. The reality is this. Like I told him, like I told my man Max Kellerman on First Take this morning, every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. That's my television show. The cat's out the bag. You've already told the world where you stand. You've got the President of the United States, in my opinion, on this vendetta tip, targeting the NFL in such a way that made things uncomfortable. And now you think, by sheer virtue of the fact that you're going to let folks stay inside the locker room and not come out onto the field during the national anthem, that's going to resolve matters? Well, what about when they come running onto the field after the national anthem is played? You don't think fans, his constituency, and others who support their position of labeling the players anti-patriotic? You really think they're not going to notice guys coming out of the locker room? The cat's out of the bag. They'll be what? Unless you're going to put on somebody else's uniform. Unless you're going to disguise your numbers. What difference does it make? You better come out there with one of those capes on, disguising your uniform number and what have you, and do it that way, because as long as they see you coming out of that locker room after the national anthem is being played, you're one of those guys. You are Colin Kaepernick. You are Eric Reed. You're anybody who takes that position. That's who you are. Who told you you're going to be able to get away with that? Now, for the record, let me state this to all of those quote-unquote patriots out there. The people who are anti-American would happen to be you. In this country, you have a right to protest. In this country, you have a right to peaceful protest. In this country, you have a right to do those things, particularly if you're not inhibiting anybody else's enjoyment. Colin Kaepernick's protest never once got in the way of a football game being played. It didn't stall traffic. It didn't block the gates, the entrances through the turnstiles. It didn't interfere with the game once kickoff time arrived. It did nothing. All of this uproar that was created was simply because of something you don't like. I would remind you that once upon a time, Colin Kaepernick sat down for the national anthem. And then a gentleman who served in our military approached him and explained to him how disrespectful that was. and that he would prefer that you do something else because anything else came across as flagrantly disrespectful to our servicemen and women. And Colin Kaepernick said, I certainly did not want to do that, which was why he came up with taking a knee. But people forgot that. You forgot the fact that he made a concerted effort to not disrespect our servicemen and women. That's why the knee came about as opposed to him sitting down like Marshawn Lynch did on a bench eating a banana during the damn national anthem being played. Nobody said a word. Colin Kaepernick takes a knee. Hell has frozen over. Someday, somehow, some way, someday, somebody's going to need to explain that one to me. He exercised his rights as an American citizen. Rights, bled, and fought and lost for him to have the right to do that. But as a result, as it was told to me by somebody close to Jerry Jones, the owner for the Dallas Cowboys, when he addressed his team about this issue, his exact words to them was, this is a business meeting. And what he did was highlight how it was compromising his bottom line, the bottom line of the National Football League, and how ultimately it would trickle down to them if they didn't fall in line. He said this ain't about all that stuff that President Trump was talking about. This ain't about all the stuff that Colin Kaepernick was talking about. This is about the NFL. He's not protesting against the NFL. He's using the NFL platform to protest against things ailing our society, which is fine if it would not cost us with our bottom line. But since it is costing us with our bottom line, we've got to prioritize. We got to make a decision. That's what Jerry Jones said. And from my understanding, it's what quite a few owners said. They weren't speaking against the rights of athletes. They weren't speaking against black folks. They weren't speaking against law enforcement officials. They weren't speaking against anything other than what affected their bottom line. Because in the business of football, you're about the business of football. Colin Kaepernick actually would have had a stronger argument if he were protesting the NFL. Because then it would make sense. And whatever position you took against the NFL, at least somebody could sit up there and say it's the NFL. But when you're not even protesting against the NFL, but it is affecting their bottom line, Jerry Jones and other owners like McNair and Snyder and others stood up and said, why should we allow this to affect our bottom line? And your problem is not even with us. You still want to wear an NFL uniform. You still want to play in the National Football League. You still want to collect this check. Then why are you compromising our checks? That is not difficult to comprehend. And so now we come full circle to the NFL implementing a policy that should have been implemented years ago. Should have been implemented it. Should have been in place. But what was the NFL busy doing instead? Collecting millions of dollars from the Department of Defense. Paid patriotism is what they called it. Where the Defense Department of the United States of America was pouring millions into the NFL's coffers just so the NFL could promote patriotism. It would assist in recruiting. It would elevate the imagery of our military in the eyes of the American public. It served as a marketing and advertising tool for our military. Fine, no problem. But one would think that at that particular moment in time, while you were receiving checks from the Department of Defense, you would have thought to have had a policy in place that would mandate you stand for the national anthem. You didn't do that as the NFL because your eyes were not on the ball with this particular issue. And now that all of this has happened, it's cost you. Not only did it compromise your bottom line with ratings and beyond, not only did it sully your image as a league, because the MLB and the NBA and others were getting money from the Department of Defense as well, according to reports. But they had mandated in their bylaws to stand for the national anthem. NFL did it. And now that you did, you got to find some weak compromise. You could stay in the locker room. Had you had that policy in place from day one, this wouldn't be an issue. But now that you've done what you've done, cat's out the bag. You can act if you want to, like no one's going to notice. Yes, they will. If they want to. Let Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Ben Roethlisberger or Deshaun Watson even or somebody, let them come running out that locker room after the national anthem's being played and watch what happens. Cat's out the bag. Cat's out the bag. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. In no way am I saying this is the wrong thing to do. There's nothing wrong about it. I just don't think it solves the problem that the NFL and its owners have at this particular moment in time. At any given moment, the president or somebody in a position of influence and power can decide, I want to bring attention to this bogus. What if the president right now, Donald Trump, came out and told his constituency, this policy is bogus. Who does the NFL think they're fooling? Ladies and gentlemen, they haven't resolved anything. The issue is still the same. These guys are bad dudes. This is still unpatriotic. What if Donald Trump came out and did that? What possible defense could the NFL have in its favor? One would argue they're more at the mercy of the president now than ever before. Literally, as owners, as a league, you are sitting around praying that the president doesn't come out and speak on this issue against you. Because if he does, nothing's solved. You can stay in the locker room all you want to. Got to come out. And when you come out and they see that you weren't there for that national anthem, uh-oh. Here's Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, speaking on this new anthem policy. Listen to what he had to say.
From our standpoint, this is a great opportunity to continue that partnership with our players and keep the focus on the progress and the programs that we think are so important in the communities. We're proud of that support, and we think that that's how change is really going to be made. Clearly, our objective as a league and to all 32 clubs, which was unanimous, is that we want people to be respectful to the national anthem. We want people to stand. That's all personnel, and make sure that they treat this moment in a respectful fashion. That's something that we think we owe. We've been very sensitive in making sure that we give players choices, but we do believe that moment is an important moment and one that we are going to focus on.
That was the Commissioner, Roger Goodell. You've heard what I had to say. You hear what he has to say. What do you have to say? 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage in America's largest and most dependable 4G networks, 4G LTE networks, rather. Lots of stuff to get into, and we will continue. Right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Coming up in a few minutes, the WBA, IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua out of the UK. He was at the basketball game last night. He's in negotiations to fight Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight championship of the world. I personally think it's going to be a big-time fight. It'll be box office. But he was at the basketball game last night. Wanted to come on. I'm happy to have him on. Looking forward to talking to him. I think this is somebody you guys will like. All of you will like. Plus, I'm going to get into the Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, the Western Conference Finals and how CP3 and James Harden saved Houston's season last night. There is so much to get into. I can't wait to talk about that. My man Brian Winters is coming on to start out for hour number 2 as well, so I'm looking forward to it. Plus, we've got a game in Boston tonight, Game 5. The Celtics host the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James. Got to win this game if you're Cleveland. You don't want a Game 7 in Boston. By the way, guys, it's time to get up off the couch. Seriously, get out to a game, a show, just something. I know that baseball and those exciting playoff games have consumed your life for weeks now. But have you looked outside your window yet? It's time to stop watching the games and start going to them. With Vivid Seats, from front row to upper deck, Vivid Seats has options to fit your needs. So grab your friends, pick a game or a show from the official ticket partner of ESPN. Just go to vividseats.com/ESPN today for an exclusive discount offer. NBA is percolating, y'all. Saw my man, actor extraordinaire Michael Ealy at the game. Good brother, great actor, promising career. Everything's moving forward for him. Saw him at the game. I told you, heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua. He's coming on the show with us. Brian Winters is coming on to start off hour number 2. And I got a whole lot to say about what transpired last night in those Western Conference Finals. I can't believe that I'm sitting here with this series tied 2-2, but I love it. Yesterday, I screamed out at y'all, H-Town, stand up! H-Town, stand up! H-Town, stand up! And that's exactly what they did. This series is tied 2-2. It returns to Houston, Texas for Game 5 tomorrow night, the Toyota Center. My God, I can't.